Centre 97.3, Est-Ouest 91.7. It's 9 o'clock. The news with Eris Stewart. Good morning, Eris.
Good morning, Sophie.
We start with the headlines.
Ashik Jagai wanted by the FCC after alleged witness tampering in reward money case. 19 dead in Nepal's social media protests while Prime Minister resigns amid unrest. Prime Minister expected in Mumbai for Mauritius-India business conclave today. Chagos issue moves forward in UK Parliament as Diego Garcia bill reaches second reading. Urgent meeting with International Olympic Committee envoy and local federations ahead of possible suspension. In world news, Trump distances US from Israel's strike on Qatar that killed Hamas officials as condemnation mounts. And in sports, World Cup 2026 African qualifiers sees Mauritius beaten by Angola while Cape Verde strengthens grip on Group D. We begin with news from the early hours of this morning where suspended police superintendent Ashik Jagai is now wanted by the Financial Crimes Commission. He is suspected of having interfered with a key witness, a breach of the conditions of his release in the ongoing reward money case. The FCC carried out a raid at his residence in Vallée de Pret, but Jagai was not found. Meanwhile, activist Bruno Lorette filed a precautionary measure at the Mocha police station yesterday. He claims to have received information that Jagai met with Stephen Mutukopen, a business associate of Jagai's son, at a tea house in Mocha. Both men, along with Jagai's son, are already under arrest in a separate case involving suspected money laundering. And turning abroad, where Nepal is gripped by turmoil in Kathmandu, residents have taken to the streets to protest against the government's decision to block social media platforms and to denounce political corruption. The demonstrations have turned violent, leaving 19 people dead in clashes with security forces. Protesters set fire to several homes of political figures. Among the victims is the wife of a former prime minister who perished when her house was torched. Amid this wave of unrest, Nepal's current Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has announced his immediate resignation. More details with Lovina Sophie.
In Nepal, the political and social crisis has turned into tragedy. In Kathmandu, the wife of former Prime Minister Jalanath Kanal lost her life in the fire that destroyed their home, attacked by protesters. Seriously burned, she had been transferred to the specialized hospital in Kirtipur, but doctors were unable to save her. This tragic episode comes as the country is shaken by unprecedented unrest. For several days, thousands of young people have been taking to the streets to denounce a highly unpopular measure, the temporary ban on social networks such as Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter. The demonstrations quickly escalated. Violent clashes broke out with security forces, and several residences of political leaders were set on fire. The home of the current Prime Minister, Khadga Prasad Oli, was also targeted. Faced with his growing anger and the country in flames, he announced his immediate resignation.
And staying abroad in Mumbai this Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Navin Ramgoolam will attend the Mauritius-India Business Conclave. The event is jointly organized by the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry and the Economic Development Board. Ahead of the summit, a roundtable is being held with Mauritian and Indian CEOs, joined by Mauritian government ministers. And moving on to Chagos-related news in London, the long-running Chagos sovereignty dispute has seen a major development. The British Parliament has begun the second reading of the Diego Garcia military base and British Indian Ocean Territory Bill. The bill seeks to incorporate into British law the provisions of the treaty that would return the Chagos archipelago to Mauritius. The measure was introduced by new Defence Minister Luke Pollard, who strongly defended it, while former Home Secretary Priti Patel, however, spoke out in opposition. We take a listen to this extract.
It's very clear that securing the operation of this base is the priority of this government and of this treaty. Indeed, I believe with good faith it was the priority of the last government as well. And that is why they started negotiations. That's why they held the negotiations for 11 rounds. And that is why we concluded them, because we agreed with the previous government that securing the future operation of the base was the priority. That is why they started it. That's why we've completed it.
But this deal is so bad for Britain. It has left our country humiliated and weaker on the world stage. And now our friends and enemies alike are laughing at the UK and Labour's epic diplomatic failure to stand up for our national interests.
And elections open today to reconstruct the board of directors of AFRINIC, the African Network Information Centre. Voting will continue until 12 September under intense scrutiny following recent controversies. On 5 September, the Supreme Court rejected a motion by Cloud Innovation Limited seeking to halt the elections, confirming the process would go ahead. More details with Pranav Bihari.
The Supreme Court has ruled AFRINIC's Board of Directors elections will go ahead as scheduled from September 10 to 12. Cloud Innovation Limited had urgently requested an interim order to suspend the process, but Judge Lakshmi Prasad Ojaib rejected the application, noting that the balance of convenience favoured maintaining the electoral timetable. He also emphasised that the receiver, Gautam Singh Debi, appointed by court order, is acting in line with his mandate and has set up a nomination committee drawn from the African internet community. Considering reported irregularities during a previous election in June, the option of electronic voting was adopted to strengthen transparency and oversight of the process. The court also ordered that the election be conducted under the supervision of Electoral Commissioner Irfan Abdul Rahman to ensure fairness and regularity. Yesterday, on the eve of the vote, AFRINIC reported that 85% of registered voters had already completed their biometric registration. No discrepancies were noted in the provisional voter list published on August 29, and the final register will serve as the basis for the election. Members have until tonight at 11:59 p.m. to finalize their registration ahead of the vote.
Meanwhile, yesterday, a current AFRINIC board member lodged a complaint with the FCC through his lawyer Arshad Hinder. He raised allegations of irregularities dating back to June and called for the suspension of the elections. And in other news, a crucial meeting was held Tuesday in Eben, bringing together the Ministry of Sports, a representative of the International Olympic Committee, the Mauritius Olympic Committee, and national sports federations. 3 proposals were put forward to resolve the crisis threatening Mauritius's participation in international sport, with the IOC Executive Board set to meet in Milan on 18 and 19 September. The Mauritian case will be on the agenda. Sports Minister Devin Nagalingam has issued an urgent appeal to both the Olympic Committee and the federations to reach a solution in the best interests of Mauritian athletes. And it's 9:08. You're listening to RM1, where we move abroad to the Middle East, where Donald Trump has denied any U.S. involvement in Israel's unfortunate strike in Qatar, which killed 5 Hamas members and sparked global condemnation. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed they carried out the strike in Doha, targeting Hamas's senior leadership. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office declared Israel initiated it, Israel conducted it, and Israel takes full responsibility. President Trump echoed this statement on his Truth Social platform, seeking to distance Washington from the operation. And finally, in sports, in football, the 2026 World Cup African qualifiers saw a busy round of matches yesterday. In Luanda, Mauritius's national team Club M lost 3-1 to Angola in Group D. The only goal for Mauritius came in the first half from William Francois. With this win, Angola keeps slim hopes of reaching the playoff spot. Also in Group D, leaders Cape Verde defeated their nearest rival 1-0, consolidating first place with 19 points. Elsewhere in Group F, Gabon and Ivory Coast played out a 0-0 draw, leaving both sides firmly at the top of their group. The Gambia beat Burundi 2-0, though neither team has any chance of qualifying. And in Group B, Mauritania and South Sudan, both already eliminated, ended their match in a 0-0 stalemate. That's all from me this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned now to the